matter now because everything's taxed in the U.S. on a real-time basis. It's not real motivation to do that. But if you are moving it because you need to deploy capital into a non-U.S. subsidiary just because they need something there for ratios or other regulatory requirements, know that digital assets don't cross borders as gracefully as fiat currencies. So you've got to watch for what that transaction looks like. You also have to look for perhaps withholding tax obligations, how that fits into the treaty network and the two different jurisdictions we're discussing. Others may be sensitive, other non-U.S. as an example, holding digital assets here in the U.S. Then different considerations there, effectively connected income basically. And so people rethink when you're using digital assets for different reasons. Let's play the risk game and how it could be conceived and dig the structure around it.
Okay, awesome. So the things to think about there. All right, this is great. Thank you so much. Maybe we can close with both of you. Last words of advice. Someone is in this call or is watching this video and saying, hey, look, I'm ready to do this. I want to invest in Bitcoin. A lot of reasons why I want to do it. What advice would you give someone before they sort of jump in or as they're starting to plan the process?
Amy?
Yeah, thanks, Rob. I'll start. So we talked a lot about accounting and tax in our session today. We didn't really have that much time to talk about internal controls. And when you're investing, you nod your head, Fawn, because when you can't have a conversation about investing in Bitcoin or make that decision without talking about internal controls. It is super important in this space and really challenging sometimes given the nature of the asset. And not only are we talking about the controls like within the four walls of your organization, so things that you have control over, but now we're also talking about potentially controls outside of your organization. So I think, for example, most companies, we're not seeing a lot of companies choose to self-custody. They're usually, looking for a custodian. And so understanding the controls that are in place of that custodian are really important. That's only one example. Our white paper, Fong, that you mentioned, talks a lot about, some of the considerations related to controls, but I can't be a true auditor at heart without not having a conversation about internal controls. So maybe not, my advice, but, one thing to not, to also think about is internal controls in this space.
Great, thank you. Yeah, and sorry we missed that topic, but it's a very important one, and I appreciate you reminding us about that, especially when it comes to the custodian side.
Yep.
Rob, send us off with some uplifting words.
The auditor.
Internal control, something more uplifting and exciting.
Well, we've spoken a lot about complexities, but this is doable, right? With the right people, with the right tone, with the right level of collaboration. Just allow some runway. You don't want to create too much anxiety in the system. Usually, whether you're talking about investing or using it in your business, you're going to iterate probably a lot, and you're going to hit some challenges you didn't anticipate. And so just allowing some runway to bring a sense of grace to do it right. I think if you apply too much time pressure to get something done, then you've created risks. It's doable, but I think that if you are very careful allowing people to think, to absorb, get together as a group, absorb, come back, and allow some iterations, then that sense of grace is probably going to help assure stronger levels of quality. Probably it's also going to be more enjoyable for the experience. This can be fun.
Well, thank you so much, Rob. Thank you so much, Amy. I really appreciate your time. Also appreciate your partnership during the process. And for those who joined us, thank you also for your time. This concludes the Bitcoin for Corporations session for today. We do have other MicroStrategy World content that is continuing today. And if you go to the sessions, you'll see what else we have today. And then we start again tomorrow morning. And we also start our Bitcoin for Corporations segment tomorrow, too, where we'll have 10 awesome vendors who will discuss the Bitcoin landscape, their experiences, and what they have to offer, too. So I appreciate all your time, and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.